Did use technology. Right from day one, you have to have your contact management software if you're going to be dealing with a lot of different clients. About a year and a half ago, we went to a paperless office.
Right.
It was a big transition, but you have to keep looking forward, say, how do I save time? I read a lot of books on time management, and I'll go and maybe spend more money than I should on books because I'll pick up some books and I'll just browse at one of the bookstores, look through different ones, pick some that I think I might like, but maybe I read 20 pages into it and say, forget it. The other ones, maybe you read a whole book and just get a couple of ideas out.
Right.
But you need to do that. I read books on how to delegate, which was one of the hardest things for me. But once I learned how to delegate and trust other people, if you don't trust other people, give them tasks that they can do, then you'll never find out if they can do it. And you have to be willing to let your employees fail.
Right.
Give them things that you think they can't do and see if they can. I've been amazed at how much smarter and how much ability people have once you trust them.
It's true.
One of the good things that happened a few years ago, part of insurance sales, won a trip to Ireland. And one of the things with cell phones, you have to learn how to turn off your cell phone, which I had never learned. I was in Ireland and England for 10 days and was totally out of touch with the office.
Right.
And you know what? You learn at that point that employees then have the ability, they need to make decisions. And once I was forced into letting them make decisions because I wasn't there, but it was a great learning experience for me because you learn that if you give people power, they can actually make decisions and do a lot more for you. At that point, after I came back from that trip, things really started to take off because I started trusting people to do other things.
Makes sense. Do you feel that your entrepreneur traits are inborn or are they made?
I think maybe they were molded from a young age. I don't know if they're inborn. I said my dad was a business owner.
Right.
My uncle was a business owner. And I saw them take risks, and I saw the different risks they took. So at a fairly young age, part of that was in me. But I think some people are risk takers and some aren't. And that's what the entrepreneur part of it is, being an educated risk taker.
And as aforementioned, you've been awarded nationwide as a top platinum producing small business agency in a span of less than 5 years. Tell me a little bit more of how you achieved that and how you managed to do it in 5 years.
Yeah, we were, in 2005, were the #1 producers for small group insurance in that platinum agency for one of the nationwide insurance companies. And out of 34,000 agencies, I was pretty excited about that.
Yeah.
Part of the thing was I had experience in the business, and I didn't have experience when I started a boat rental business. And if you don't have experience in the business, you learn on your own dime. Sometimes it's better to learn on somebody else's. So I had experience running an agency before I started. I also knew what I wanted to do. We targeted a niche of small business owners because everybody wants to sell to the companies with thousands of employees because it's a potential big payoff immediately. Lots of times people don't want to deal with that 5 or 10 person company because they might not have a director of HR, and it's a little bit different decision-making process. You have to kind of get down into the trenches. But we made a decision to go after that niche and went after it very hard. And in addition to that, one of the things we did a lot of is we don't spend money on advertising, but we network a lot.
Right.
Being in the community, the Chamber of Commerce, the trade shows, being in networking groups one-on-one, and building relationships that way. And those relationships really pay off. I think a lot of people look, what do I get, if I meet this person, what do I get out of them today? If you have that kind of mentality, kind of like, you're the closer and you're just going to make money today, it doesn't pay off. It pays off very quickly. You might close a sale today, but you don't build a relationship for the long run.
Right, and you mentioned that you do talks at these Chamber of Commerce and other organizations. How did you begin doing these kind of little talks and, doing public speeches and things like that?
Well, one of the things, you have to be willing to do a lot of things that result in dead ends.
Right.
Maybe, at the Chamber of Commerce, you join if you join a Chamber of Commerce, maybe you join the ambassador group to welcome new members, and you're there a lot. And maybe it's not till 3 or 6 months down the road that someone talks and an opportunity comes up that says, hey, maybe you could help us out with this. But also make it known, you have to have some kind of knowledge, you have to become very knowledgeable in what you're doing, and really be well read on it. For some reason, I have a passion for this business. And that's what I was talking about. To be successful, you have to have a passion and really care about what you're doing.
Right. What's next for Nichols Insurance?
Well, right now we're just opening an office down in Fort Lauderdale, our second office, which is exciting. So although we do business around the state, we're going to have a presence down in South Florida, which is such a huge market. And for us, where we target small businesses, the Miami-Dade area is kind of like New York City, but filled with tons of small businesses. That's one. We're going into some other areas of, instead of just employee benefits, some other services that are provided to small businesses. The key, though, we're growing our staff and personally for me, building our infrastructure as we add more people and really trying to make sure that we service our clients better, where we built up a base of over 400 business clients now. We have to move a little bit from how do we get more business on the books, even though we're putting a lot of business on the books, how do we provide more services to our clientele and really make sure we maintain the clients that we have, because we built up a really great client base.
Is it your dream to grow this small business into a corporation?
We're a corporation now, and I've actually had several offers to buy out the business.
Oh, wow. Very impressive.
For a good chunk of money, and I wouldn't have to work anymore, which is very exciting. After 5 years, it's grown much quicker than I thought. This year, we're actually growing close to 45% over last year, and that's very exciting. But my goal is to build the infrastructure to do a couple things. For me personally, to take a lot of vacation and spend time with my family. I don't want to sell the business. It really is my life, and the people I work with and the associations I built up over time. And one of the great things in working with small businesses, you get to know tons of business owners, which is fun. And really, you become much more part of the community. My goal, again, building the infrastructure so that the employees working in the business, it can provide rewards for them, grow for the future, so that because we've got close to 15 people now, we're providing a livelihood for 15 people, which is exciting.
That is exciting. James, it is a pleasure speaking to you about small businesses and turning it into reality. You're certainly a role model, and you're a great example of how an entrepreneur can become a success. Thank you again.
Thank you.
You've been watching WEDU's Small Business Academy. Please join us again as we learn and get inspired by entrepreneurs who show us how to be in the competitive edge.
There's no one exactly like you. No one has the same financial goals or cares about the same people. That's why Raymond James Financial Advisors have the independence to offer unbiased advice that's right for you. And it's why we pioneered the idea of financial planning. You might say we're just as unique as you are. Raymond James, individual solutions from independent advisors.